Good morning, everybody. Um, we are going to start our third day of our read aloud today because of Mr. Terupt. We just finished the first section, which was September. I've got an update on dollar words. I had a couple more submissions and a couple words that were just a couple cents off or a couple cents short. Um, but Jaylene got her first dollar word yesterday, which was excellent, and Mike Alonso came up with another dollar word, which was buzzy, Buzzzy. So good job, guys. Keep up the good work on coming up with those dollar words. We're going to start today with the section October. Peter. I never had something in school excite me before, but the plant unit we did with Mr. T had me fired up. We grew these bean plants from seeds, and once they got big enough, we started doing different tests with them. Variables, Mr. T called them. First, we stuffed the plant in boxes with just a little tiny hole on the side, and we waited to see what the plants would do after a few days in the dark. Anna had a meltdown about it. I don't want to put mine in a box, she cried. Mr. T had to take her out in the hall to calm her down. I was kind of shocked. Usually she doesn't say anything. What a weirdo, I thought. It's no wonder she doesn't have any friends. It's a good thing Danielle was her partner. She's she's the patient kind. Anyone else would have been fuming. My partner was Lexi, which was fine. She let me do what I wanted. Next, we put the plants on their sides to see how they would grow. I couldn't believe it. The plants bent and still grew up toward the ceiling. That was pretty cool. But the best part was what we got to do in the end. Mr. T let us feed our plant any concoction we wanted to over the course of a week. There was just one rule. We couldn't use an ingredient that would spoil and stink up the classroom, like milk or something that wasn't good for us to breathe, like gas. There were some pretty wild concoctions. David and Nick used salad dressing because, according to them, plants made salad, so the plant will like the salad dressing. Brenda and Heather used orange juice mixed with ketchup and Pepto Bismol. I don't know what they were thinking. Mine was the best, though. I brought in kitty litter, used soda, and a little maple syrup. I did my best to mix it together and feed it to my plant. Lexi wasn't real happy about my choice of ingredients. I didn't tell her that I had peed in my soda bottle, too, some. Peter, you moron. This stuff is going to kill our plant, she whined. Shut up. You never cared about the plant before, I said. Well, I care now, she said. Lexi, maple syrup comes from trees. I drink soda a lot, and I'm growing. And farmers put animal manure on their fields all the time, so zip it. It's going to work. Our plant was dead in 2 days. Danielle and Anna did the best. Danielle used some natural ingredients her grandmother had taught her about, something the old time farmers really did use, I guess. Danielle lives on a farm, so she had a big adventure. Her concoction worked, big time. She and Anna were the only ones to come up with food that the plant liked. Anna was all smiles until Lexi said, like, you're just lucky Danielle was your partner. She did everything. Then Lexi turned to me and added, even if she is fat. I don't think anyone else heard, but I laughed. I know I probably shouldn't have. Anna's smile disappeared and she stared at the floor. Poor old Luke sure tried. I think he put too much brain power in it. And he's got a lot of brain power. He's been the smartest kid in school since kindergarten. His partner was Jeffrey, but he never does anything. He just let Luke take charge. Maybe he should have helped. I've brought in a number of different ingredients, Luke said, and they'll interact perfectly because of the electron balance and resulting bond formations. He even said something about a periodic table or some crazy thing. Well, you're never going to believe this, but Luke mixed his junk together and it started smoking. The next thing we knew, the stupid fire alarm was going off. The whole school had to go outside, and even the fire department showed up. It was great. Mr. T had to do some explaining, and after a while we were let back inside. But Luke wasn't performing any more experiments for us. Man, things were just so much fun with Mr. T. Luke. We moved from cool math right into wicked science. The only thing I didn't like about our science unit was that we had to have partners. I prefer to do my projects alone, but Mr. Turup teamed us up. We were working with plants, and he said we didn't have enough space for everyone to have their own. Jeffrey was my partner, which, believe it or not, worked out great because he let me do whatever I wanted. He didn't care. The only bad part was he was always grumpy. Dollar word. We studied photosynthesis by observing how our plant grew toward light after we stuffed it into a box that had only a tiny hole in its side. Then we studied geotropism by observing our own plant grew toward the ceiling, even after we tipped the plant on its side for a few days. And then we were given the opportunity to study a variable on our own. Mr. Terupt told us to manipulate the plant's nourishment. Feed it whatever you want, he said. Make your own concoctions. Geoffrey left me alone. He hated school and everything about it. That day I hurried home and studied my periodic table. I had received a special chemistry set last Christmas. Hydrogen and oxygen make a special bond when they come together to form water. So I figured I should try to recreate that special bond with whatever molecular ingredients I chose. I looked through the chemicals in my set and picked the ones that would result in the same type of electron balance that occurred in the hydrogen and oxygen bond. I took my ingredients to school and got ready to measure and mix. Geoffrey was slightly interested at this point. Mr. Terupt, on the other hand, appeared a little uneasy about the whole thing, but he never stopped me. Luke, sometimes when you mix chemicals, it can cause a reaction, which then explodes. $. I know, I said. Maybe we shouldn't mix this in the classroom without knowing what's going to happen, he said. It might not be safe. All these potions came from my chemistry set at home. My mom saw it. It's safe, I said, trying my best to convince Mr. Turup. I didn't tell Mom or Mr. Turup about the few ingredients I got from Dad's garage. I knew it would work. Hey guys, come and look at all this stuff Luke's mixing together, Chris yelled. I felt everyone gather behind me as I began mixing my substances together in a bowl. Before I could feed my plant, something happened. First, the bowl started feeling warmer, then hot. The potion turned dark green, then gray. It started bubbling, first slowly, then rapidly. I knew this was bad. Back up, everybody, back up. Get away from it, Mr. Turupt ordered. Smoke started billowing from my concoction. Then the screech of the fire alarm pounded against my ears. The the only other thing I heard was Peter laughing. "This is awesome," he yelled. "Way to go, Lukester." "Outside, everybody, outside," Mr. Turupt ordered. I was done for. I was sure of it. Wrong again. Mr. Turupt spoke to Mrs. Williams and took the blame for everything. He even stood up to the fire marshal, who always walks through the building after an unannounced fire alarm. The marshal wanted our dollar word posters taken off the hallway walls. He claimed they were a fire hazard. Geoffrey thought this confrontation was a big deal. "Did you see Turup say no to that guy?" he said. He refused to take our posters down." "I saw," I said, and I saw flashbacks of smoke pouring out of the bowl. I knew I wasn't ever going to be a botanist. $. At least Geoffrey had gotten excited about something. I wish Mr. Turup hadn't trusted us so much. Maybe it was because he was a first-year teacher and didn't know better. But I don't think that was it. I think it was a case of Mr. Turup being a special teacher. Geoffrey. Luke was trying to feed our plant. I saw the smoke rising. I knew that was going to happen. Turup did too, because I saw him go to the windows right away. Not fast enough, though. The alarm still went off. The whole school had to go outside because of Luke. When we came back in, some guy was walking down the hall with our janitors, Mr. Loomis and Mr. Ruddy. Turup sent us into the classroom, but he stayed in the hall. I hid by the door to listen. "All of it," the man yelled. "I want all of it off the walls." He pointed at our math posters. Mr. Loomis looked at Turupt. "You heard him," he said. "I'm not taking them down," Turupt said. "Do you know who this is?" Mr. Reddy said. "This is the fire marshal." Turupt said, "I don't care who it is. I'm not taking them down." He looked at the fire marshal and said, "You have no idea how hard my kids worked on these." He was pointing at our posters. He was pointing at my poster. It had one word on it, stupid, and it wasn't even a dollar word. All of a sudden I felt bad because I hadn't tried on Mr. Turup's project. There were some more words said, but then the fire marshal left. The poster stayed. I hope he felt stupid. Turup came back into the room. Peter was out of his seat. "Mr. T, you just told that guy off," Peter said, dancing around. "That was awesome." "No, I didn't," Turup said. "Get in your seat. You shouldn't have seen that." But I saw it, and I heard it. Mr. Turup stuck up for us. There's always posters up in the school halls, and they've never been a fire hazard. I think the fire marshal was just mad about our false alarm, and I think Turup knew that too. He wasn't going to get pushed around. Our hard work mattered to Turup, even mine. I owed him now. I had to try, even if only a little. Okay, we're going to stop there. That pretty exciting 2 chapters and different perspectives. I hope you're still thinking about the characters. I can see a lot of you in some of these characters already. Um, and I hope you're making those same connections and feeling connected to the book itself. Let's have a great day. I look forward to hearing some new dollar words. Luke gave us a couple more in that chapter, and we'll keep that list going. So far, Mike Alonso has 2 words, Jaylene has 1, and Adriana has 1. So I hope to see a couple more people participating today. Let's have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.